Hello and welcome to episode 1 of a new series here on the channel. That's right, I am back. Now let's go over a couple of things before we jump into the actual run here. Don't worry, this won't take too long. Number one, you can expect these videos to come back out daily once again. So no more long exits from existence for me. Number two, we are playing on the Bitbucket version of Anbennar. And if you don't know what that is the work in progress. So as the Anbennar team develops to the next update, they kind of release a little progress, smaller, tiny updates on their Discord server that anyone can go and play. So that's what we're on. And the only reason I bring that up is we may run into content that is not finished yet. There may be bugs that we run into, but we are in a pretty polished state right now. It seems to be pretty stable. So I wanted to make sure we do that because unlike what it says right here with version 1.3.5, we are actually in EU4 version 1.35. So we have all of the new estate interactions and we have the professionalism changes and all that. And I genuinely like 1.35, so I wanted to make sure we were playing in that. And yes, that does mean that Sarhal, this continent down here, does have nations in it. I'm not sure how much that we will interact with him, though, because we will be playing as Corvuria, which has a much more Eskin focus and just in this general region of Canor. But I guess we shall see. I think that's all the things that I needed to go over before we really jump in here. So let's do that. Number one, we have this new screen here when we start up. If you have a computer that is not super high end or you just generally struggle with late game performance, you can go ahead and delete regions from the map. So if you're, say, playing in Canor and you're never going to interact with Hellas, you can go ahead and delete it from the game. Now, do keep in mind that this means you cannot colonize these provinces, okay? I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, well, I can just delete regions and then colonize them for free. No. If you delete regions, they have nothing in them, so it could save you on performance, but we will not be doing that. Number two, the decision for using Great Conquerors or not has changed. We have normal mode, we have Great Conquerors, which is what we will be playing on because I enjoy having Great Conquerors in the game. I think it adds a lot of fun opportunities. If you're crazy, you can play with Mythical Conquerors if you like, which is like Great Conquerors on steroids. And apparently at some point there will be some kind of variance, but I don't know what that does. And right now it's work in progress and I'm not too worried about it. Also, as you can see, there are achievements now for Anbennar, and I have been doing some of them over on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Poiuymew. Just a little plug right there. There's no achievements that we're going for in this run specifically. I don't think we're going to get any, but if we can run into them, then we will. But I'll leave them on just in case. And you only have access to these settings at the beginning of the game. Okay, so we are playing Corvuria. What is Corvuria all about? Vampires. We are one of the few vampire tags in the world. I know that Corvuria, Asheniande, Company of the Thorn will form Luciande. They're vampires. And Jinki, I think, in Hellas is also a vampire. And I don't know if there's any in Sarhal or not. I don't know a lot about Sarhal, but there are very few. And we are the largest of the vampire tags. Which gives us a special estate, which gives us more national tax. So we actually make a lot of tax money because of that, and we will continue to probably stack tax income a little bit, at the very least, because it's a very good source of money in the early game for us to buy advisors and whatnot. We start off with King Davin II Silvivin, a 2/2/4. Looks like we've rolled Martial Educator. I believe the traits are randomized, but our stats are always the same. And we also have our heir, Kamir Silvivin, a 056. I don't love that he has 0 in admin, but I'm not going to disinherit him. He is a 056. That's 11. I will keep that. We are human admin and human military. And it looks like, actually, Kamir is a powerful mage, so that'll be cool. That means that he's definitely going to die before we take over because, that's just how it goes. That's how the luck is. Nothing crazy here. Economy, we start off pretty strong. Again, because of that national tax, we are making a decent amount of cash. Trade, we are in a horrendous trade node. It is not good. Not good at all. And the Flooded Coast, which is where we're going to expand into, also bad. Also very, very bad. So our trade is going to suffer for a long time until we can get control over the Eberthil node and the Ardennen node. Which Ardennen is owned by the Empire, and the Eberthil node is difficult to break into because we can't easily get a CB there. So we'll have to see how we go about that. But just, it is what it is. Luckily, we have pretty good control over the Gawain node, which is our home node right now. Nobody else really has stuff here, but they can just pull trade out, which is quite annoying. As for tech, we start off tech 3, and let's go over our national ideas. So we have +1 attrition to enemies and 10% less aggressive expansion impact. Keep that in mind. We will be taking good advantage of that. And at the end, we also get 10% morale of armies. We get 10% national manpower and minus 0.05 monthly autonomy change, 10% cav combat ability and 2.5% discipline, 20% stab cost modifier and 0.5 yearly absolutism, 20% fort defense, 20% caravan power, which is good for keeping Gawain, +1 yearly prestige, and +1 land leader fire. So I think, as for our idea groups, what I'm thinking of right now is espionage and aristocratic. Usually not a combo that I go for, but they do stack quite well with what we need to do, giving us even less aggressive expansion, making cav better, because with Corvuria, we probably are going to be relying on using cav for a decent amount of time, so we might as well get some more bonuses out of it. We do have quite the extensive mission tree that we will be going through. I know that our conquests will take us into the Empire, into Everthil, into the Deep Woods, so we're going to be going quite wide on this one, so we'll probably need to take admin tech or admin ideas at some point to help out with that, but long time until we get there. As for our decisions, we have our regular ones, which we had before, which is racial military, intolerance, and pop control. Regent Court deity switch, you can switch your deity. We'll come back and talk about that a little bit more after we look at our religion tab. You could track your vampire estates. I'm not sure exactly what this means. Click the question mark to highlight other nations with vampires. Oh, okay. So you can like check who you've spread vampires to or has been spread to them. That is rather helpful. We will not be forming Dossanor, so we can unclick that. We're not going to expel mages, and we're not going to use state firearm regiment, so we can get rid of that as well. We have foreign governing capacity because we start off as a kingdom, right? Yes, we do. Let's go over our religion. So we are Regent Court. Regent Court, also known as the Canorian Pantheon, is a collection of gods prominently worshipped within the continent of Canor. Followers usually adhere to a specific patron deity, but can otherwise worship and pay respects to many other gods within the Pantheon. The Pantheon is organized similarly to a feudal court, with each deity taking on roles similar to various positions within said court. So there has been some changes with the Regent Court religion, and I mean many religions to be fair, in the Bitbucket version, which again is the one we're playing from the last version. And we already kind of went over it. You can switch your deities out every 10 years. So it used to be that you'd select a deity here and you'd be locked in until your ruler died. You no longer have to live with that. You know, you could choose something for 10 years and then you can go ahead and switch it over. As for us, I almost always go for Castellos early because +1 monthly admin is so nice. And we're not going to be able to take advantage of getting all of our monarch points from our estates here, which is a little bit sad. So it'd be really good. But I do happen to know that this 25% spy network construction is going to come in very, very handy for our early mission tree because we need at least 80 spy network on the Emperor. So I think I'm actually going to go with the goddess Nathalin, which is the goddess of thieves, secrets, and shadows. Nathalin was once a mortal avatar of the Dame who went undiscovered for years due to her half-elven origins. In life, she was an infamous thief and one of the first outside practitioners of the Haramari art of shadowmancy. So we're actually going to be choosing her because it's different, all right? I always choose Castellos. We don't need to choose it every time. As for our military, we are, doing fine. We can have 21 troops, which is really good. And then we get to our estates. Oh boy, is it ever time to deal with our estates. So, we have all the regular estates and the vampires. And we actually do want to have relatively strong vampires because they can give some really sweet bonuses if they're influential and loyal. We're talking like minus 50% stab cost, I think. We'll see, because we're going to make them really strong here. But we could stab up for super cheap. But let's go over our special privileges that we have for the vampires. So we have two things. Vampire Law and vampire organization. The law we have right now is the State Collusion Masquerade, which gives 10% loyalty and influence, minus 20 max absolutism, which doesn't matter right now, and it also gives minus 1 national unrest and 20% national tax. In addition, though, we do get minus 10% reform progress growth, and nobility, loyalty, and influence is lowered by 10%. In some countries, the knowledge of an organized vampire society is known to the upper echelons of the government, and with this knowledge, both mortal and undead have reached a form of symbiotic agreement in which vampires can be called upon to help the state, and in turn, the state will help protect and conceal vampiric activity. So the nobles of the country know that we have vampires. To be fair, though, everybody kind of knows, but they can't prove it, and that's the important thing. But our nobles, for sure, 100% know, and they kind of help us in covering up these problems. Now, to be clear, as far as I know, our ruler is not a vampire. That is a different thing, a separate thing. We just have vampires inside of our country. And as for our organization, we have the Bloody Aristocracy, which gives vampires 10% influence, and we get 10% national tax and minus 1% yearly army tradition decay for a cost of 5% less national manpower and manpower recovery speed, and 10% less nobility influence. Throughout history, vampires have held positions of power and influence, and with the rise of feudalism, many vampires found themselves elevated to nobility. The vampires of this realm can be found amongst the aristocratic stock. That is not to say that all nobles are vampires, but a good number of them are, and enjoy with great delight the peasant stock in their lands. So yes, while not everyone's a vampire, we do have quite a few nobles that are vampires. So let's go ahead and give them some more privileges. So we're going to offer New Havens. We do lose 10% crown land, but is what it is. I would like to give them vampires and the administration because it gives them more influence, which I want them to have. And then I need them to have 10 more influence. How do I want to do that? What do I want to give them? I mean, active concealment is okay, but I don't really want to lose the national tax. Midnight Command can be good. I mean, it's +1 land leader fire and shock. You can't really look down upon that one. Is there really no other way for me to give them more influence? There's not. Maybe we just are content with 50 because we have an early mission somewhere here where vampire influence needs to be 50 or greater, and that gives us a bunch of crown land, which would be pretty sweet considering we're going to lose even more crown land here in a second. But we can always hand this out later. We don't necessarily need to give it to them now. So that'll be good for the vampires. As for the clergy, we also want our clergy to be good because they also give us national tax. So if we stack national tax with the vampires and with the clergy, that is good. That's very good. So we're going to go for oversight, just to get a base one in there. We're going to go for religious diplomats for that +1 dip rep and 10 relations with everyone of our religion. I think we might want to go for clerical education here to offset the reform progress growth penalties that we get from State Collusion Masquerade. It does mean that we would need to keep our clergy loyal, and if they're ever disloyal, they will be, well, not happy with us. But that's fine. As long as we keep them loyal, then we should be good. It does give them a little bit of influence, but I will survive. Gets up to 44 influence. I wouldn't mind their influence being a little bit higher, and their loyalty is definitely not enough. I think we go to the nobility for that one, though, and give supremacy over the crown, which, by the way, does not affect the vampire estate. That does not actually give them more loyalty and influence, just our regular estates. All right, that gets the clergy to 58 loyalty and 54 influence. There might be some things we do to mess with that. If we can get a stable stab cost reduction from the vampires, then I can hand out these advisory councils to all the estates to get even cheaper advisors at the cost of stab, but if it's offset, it doesn't really matter. All right, as for the nobility, give them right of council. And was there any missions early on that talk about noble loyalty? I don't think there is, because the nobles kind of get replaced by the vampires, right? Since the vampires limit their power. I think we'll give... I mean, we do... We do want nobility officer rights. It could save us a lot, especially if we use nobility officer rights. Ooh, if we use nobility officer rights with the Midnight Command, then yes, we lose 5% morale of armies, but we don't need to pay this general cost. And that would be very good. That would be very good. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Let's give them even more influence here. Hopefully we don't miss that 5% morale of armies. And then from the nobility, we'll grab nobility officer rights. There we go. They have a loyalty of 51 and influence of 39. I don't know if there's really anything else that I need to give them. I mean, I could switch prestige. I can spend prestige to gain nobility loyalty if I really wanted to. I don't know if I do, though. But if we do, we can always lock it in. Right. And as for the merchants, we will give them free enterprise. And, of course, I also want to give them merchant guilds bookkeeping. Again, you have to keep them loyal. There's no disloyalty penalty, though, so it's not a huge deal. But having that extra state maintenance reduction cannot hurt at all. It's just money. You're switching out money for 10% influence. And right now, they only have 49 influence, so it's not too bad. Now, was there anything else here that I wanted to give them? Yeah, I mean, Merchant Guild's economic freedom could actually be useful for us, only because, again, our trade nodes are very bad, and getting any amount of provincial trade power is going to be kind of huge for us. The other option that we could go for is... I thought they had a tax one. Do they not have a tax one? I thought there was one that gave us more tax. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I overlooked it. Oh, yeah, it's this. The financial demand gives us 10% national tax. But it gives them more influence than I'd really like them to have, to be honest with you. So I think we are going to give the guild's economic freedom. I've never used it before. Why not? Right? We'll use whatever advantages we can. And the adventurers, we're going to give them generous quest rewards. It does cost 10% national tax, but we need to make sure that the adventurers wanted goes away, because that is rather brutal if we do not. And since we have vampires in our lands, you can guarantee that we will be getting some adventurers wanted, because the adventurers don't know that we have vampires, and they will not be happy. Next thing we're going to do is... I could give patronage of the magical arts. It does lower national tax. But it would make the mages a little bit more loyal. I'll give that to them. And then finally, we're actually going to sell titles. Right, look at all these bonuses. See, my 50% stab cost is huge. That is major. And then we're immediately going to get rid of it. Because we're going to get 5% crown land back. Because that's just how it goes. And there is a reason that we sold titles there. And that is, one, I like money. And two, we need to repair the Castinorian Citadel on our capital. Right now it's ruined, so it gives an additional 10% local defensiveness, but it could be better. We also have a great project here in our capital, which, when it is maxed out, gives us 10% local defensiveness in the province and the area. Globally, it gives us 0.5 yearly prestige and absolutism, and 5% nobility and vampire loyalty. So we will want to be upgrading this. And there is a decision to rebuild Baldoston. The ancient Castinorian citadel of Baldoston was once the center of the old kingdom of Dossinor, and more recently the capital of the kingdom of Corvuria under the name Arca Corvur. It valiantly held off the green tide and spared the lands behind it from the same fate as the rest of Eskin, but was ruined in the process. The time to restore these walls has come, so that it may protect the surrounding lands once again. And that costs 150 crowns. Flanked by mountains sits the ruins of an old fortress, grim in its comparison to its former glory. Having been rebuilt again and again after numerous invasions into the region, it will once again rise from the dead to complete the nearly impenetrable defense the terrain provides. So that will take some time. That does mean that we have minus 50% local production and tax here until that completes. If you are new to the Anbennar universe, the Green Tide was an invasion of millions of orcs that happened up here in Eskin, which is currently in the fog of war. And the borders that you see right here are the borders of how far the Green Tide got. Green Tide ended one day ago in the city of Cassanath, where a little adventurer named Corin defeated Corgus Dukinson, the leader of the orcs, and everything has kind of gone to chaos, and now they're all going to fight over Eskin, and then we'll go take it from them eventually. Okay, well, we are already 20 minutes in, and we have not even looked at diplomacy or unpaused. Real 1444 hours. There are two people that I would like to ally here in the early game, and that is Bucelar and Arboran. I want to ally Bucelar because I'm hoping to get a personal union on them, because it's much easier to get a PU than to actually go and conquer this region. It would be very, very nice, and that means that I could actually attack into the Empire from two directions, which would be good because they can distract them. And I need to ally Arboran because, one, I need to ally them for a mission, and two, they can help me fight Ibavar, who is a rival of both of us. Sometimes Arboran rivals us, but it seems that this time we are good to go. Now let's choose our rivals. I want to rival Asheniande because I'm going to annex him. I would like to rival... Looks like Arnon. Okay, so Arnon and Asheniande are probably going to ally together. So I could rival Arnon to try and get a humiliate off. The only thing I'm worried about is I want to get a show strength off on Ibavar when they get weakened through their disaster by calling in Arboran. So I want to rival Ibavar. But this will probably be available after I kill Asheniande. So... yeah, let's do that, and let's also rival the Emperor, because that will allow us to build our spy network a little bit faster. Now, you are very close to allying me, and if I go ahead and scornfully insult Ibavar, then you will instantly ally me. So let's go ahead and lock that in. Now, it is likely that Arboran is going to get a personal union here very quickly. Exwis starts with their dynasty, and he's 63 years old. So he could kick the bucket at any time, and it will probably go under Arboran. The problem with that is that means that someone could declare war on Arboran to contest it. Let's just hope that doesn't happen, and that they get the personal union for free. Or really, even better, they don't get the personal union, which means I can get a personal union over Arboran. You know, it's a little scummy, a little bit self-centered, but hey, that's life. You are going to be the other one, and we're going to need to improve relations with you to try and get you to be our friend. Okay, let's go to speed. Actually, we'll go speed 3 here as we get everything set up. Let's go ahead and summon the diet and see what they want. You want an army larger than Wex, and you'll give me morale of armies. You want development, and you'll give me money. You want autonomy. You want me to improve the magisterium for mage loyalty. Let's go for the money one, depending on the province. It is mountains. Wool. Ugh. We do need to develop all these provinces in our current lands, but I don't think I want to do that, because Ravenhill, we're going to take this really early, and they have gems, so it is possible that we can spawn fast in here. We would have to declare the war, own the province, core the province, have the province embrace Renaissance before anybody else. Now, there's not a lot of gems around here, luckily. It's really Ibavar who's not going to get the institution, and Pearl's Edge. The main problem is there's lots of people who own glass that are OPMs. So, like BPEC and Moonhaven and Magisterium are probably pretty likely to get enough prestige to actually fire faceting, but I would like it myself. So we'll see how that goes. So we're going to save our Diplo points, and instead we'll choose the one where we have a larger army than Wex. Okay, so we started on repairing Val Dostin. We need an ally in the EOA that has at least 50 development. That's Arboran. And now we need an ally in the EOA that neighbors Asheniande. I'm assuming that these small guys would probably be willing to ally me. Yes, we can go ahead and ally the dwarves maybe. Nothing wrong with that. And you need for me to have my manpower level at least 75%. Yeah, that's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. Luckily, we need a while because we need to build a spy network of 80 in Asheniande and in Wex. So, yeah. It's going to be quite a bit. Corvurian separatist sentiments happen in one day. Corvurian infiltration will raise autonomy and unrest in Asheniande's Corvurian land. Yeah, this would give us a restoration of Union CB on Asheniande, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really want that. Like, straight up, I don't really want that. But we'll see how it goes. All right, unpause here until we can make another move with our diplomats. Yep, everything's going through. Everything's happening. Apparently, you got Regent Court Zealots immediately. That sucks. We need to move a merchant here. Go ahead and collect from trade. But we're going to use this to do hostile trading. So that way we get 25% more spy network construction. We are making a decent amount of cash as well. So let's go ahead and hire some dudes here. We could grab this spy network. Ooh, and all power cost? Oh, that is like perfect. The only thing that would have been better is if this was morale of armies. But yeah, I'll take those 3 advisors. All day, any day. Thank you very much. We should probably start to build spy networks here on this month tech. Yep. All right, there we go. Go to hostile trading, and that will affect the both of them. We do not need to pay for our troops right now. Go ahead and turn those off. Arboran, I will accept your royal marriage. That is unfortunate. Okay, well, we pivot then. We pivot to a different person to ally. That is an unfortunate alliance for us to encounter. Not an uncommon one, but I was hoping it wouldn't happen. Right. Yeah, I'll ally Silverforge because that completes the Imperial diplomacy mission. But let's read the 10th Pantheonic Council first. There are rituals and forms associated with the Pantheonic Council laid down in the centuries since worship of the Regent Court was first codified. There must be a gathering of every deity's high priest. There must be at least 7 days of discussion, a further 7 days of debate. There are required rites of thanksgiving, of divination, of worship. None of those rules were followed in the so-called 10th Pantheonic Council. It was a conclave of unruly adventurer clerics, many barely literate in the teachings of their deity, led by the previously unknown Dominic of Gallows Peak. It is less a discussion than wild speculation. Corrin was not slain in truth, but instead moved beyond cursed Agridos' heresy and ascended to take that fallen god's place in the court. Or perhaps it less a proclamation than a wildfire. These beliefs grew fast amongst Ascani adventurers, followed them back from their homes across Canor, and there spread like a spark in dry kindling. Davin II has well noted the growing faith in her ascension, and it seems today the temples themselves have issued statements agreeing to this status. They note further discussion is necessary about her relationship to Agridos and all his failings, but they shall not stand before the tide. Let it be proclaimed across Corvuria, so all may learn that Corrin has joined the Regent Court as a goddess of war, bravery, and heroism. So Corrin will now be unlocked as a patron deity for every follower of the Regent Court. If we want to switch to her right now, we would lose 10 prestige, and that would give us 5% morale of armies and 5% shock damage, which is different than how it used to be. It used to give you +1 shock to your leaders, but now it is just simply 5% shock damage, which is a little bit more balanced. But we will not be switching. We like our Lady of Darkness, or whatever mantra she goes by. The Shadows. Lady of Shadows, probably. All right, and we have Imperial diplomacy completed. The first human king of Corvuria, Lucian the Protector, was no doubt a brave warrior, but also an excellent diplomat. He impressed Jahair and was the only human to be given command of one of Jahair's realms and gave our people much autonomy under Jahair's Phoenix Empire. While that empire is long gone, another stands in its place much closer to home, Anbennar. We must emulate Lucian in order to preserve our country. A silver tongue will lead Corvuria to greatness. And then it gives us claims so we can go to war. Yeah, silver tongue, sure. Get a permanent claim on Sestier Bridge, Ashfield, and Livergrave, which are not sure where. Well, I got claims on something. I don't know what we got, but we got permanent claims. Let me tell you what. Sestier Bridge, Ashfield, and Livergrave. Well, we sure did not. We sure did not get those permanent claims. Maybe it needs a month to update. Is possible. Is it just not showing on the map? Nope, it just straight up did not give us the claims. Well, that is off to a great start. Oh well. I didn't want those claims anyways. There's no way. Oh, that is so nice. Wow. King Davin II is now careful. Minus 10% aggressive expansion impact. Pre-recorded, confirmed. That is probably the best trait we could have gotten there, despite the fact we didn't get our permanent claims, which, you know, not thrilled about, but it is what it is. Prepare resettlement will have us colonizing down into here. We're not going to click this button yet, though, because we need 75% manpower, and that will take 10,000 manpower away from us. So we're going to leave that be. We don't need to switch out our deity, and I don't need to recruit a general yet. Not necessary. Not necessary. I do need to try and find some more allies, though. Is there anyone around worth allying? Like, Sagamber's not far off of allying me. Neither is Vern. Who would I rather ally? Probably Vern. Just because Vern will ally Eberthil, and then maybe if I secure Vern, then maybe they can like beat up Boostlar. I don't know. Well, I mean, Vern definitely is stronger with their generals, +2 land leader shock compared to fort maintenance. But allying Sagamber would mean that if I do go to war with Boostlar over something, then they would hit Sagamber first. Let's ally Sagamber. Yeah, improve relations. And we are gaining 2.89 spy network every month right now. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. All right. Now, am I going to get... Yeah, okay. I'm going to get permanent claims on Rackman's Court and on Ravenhill. So we don't need to make those claims. We can just let the spy networks do their thing, which I do like quite a bit. Sagamber, are you willing to ally me? Yes, you are. Let's go ahead and throw that alliance in there. Eventually, we will need their land, but for now, it will be fine. It'll be fine. Trade League is gone up there. I don't really care. We could mothball this fort, but we can afford it, so we'll leave it up. And we will merc up for this first war, just so we can make sure that we have the 75% manpower and the 90% force limit. And then we can also complete prepare resettlement, because that will allow us to start colonizing down into here. There is only one person that will really contest us with that, and that's Ardenan. So we're going to want to try and cut them off. So we'll probably do that. I mean, there is multiple ways to cut people off, because I can seize this from them. Now that I think about it. As long as they allied Asheniande, and they have. Who else have you allied? Just Ardenan. That'd be such a nice war to do. Oh man, build this out faster. Baldoston is rebuilt. After a year of construction, we have finally restored the old citadel of Baldoston. It now sits proudly in its old position and will greatly bolster our defenses henceforth. All right, we get 25% local defensiveness here, so that's an additional 15%, which makes it pretty good. Though there's really nothing threatening it right now, eventually when we go into Eskin, it'll be nice. It'll be nice eventually, right? One day. Right, and it is now prepared. Baldoston was the original name for Arca Corvur and was the center of power for Caston's empire in the region. During the Dragon Wake, its stewards fled and abandoned the people, and our ancestors, the Corburid, occupied and secured the citadel and gave shelter to Corburid and Castonorian alike. Thanks to our patrons, we have gained the resources necessary to repair Baldoston and restore the decrepit village that lies beneath its gaze. The village of Corvuria will once again be a humble yet bustling community which provides us manpower and our patrons livestock. Seems the vampires are making demands. Till the end of the game, we'll get minus 15% local construction cost and minus 30% local development cost. Now, I do want to stab up before we do that. And it looks like it's going to be a very long time before the vampires ever become loyal enough for that to matter. Because I was thinking about going to stab 2, but I think we'll just go to... Nah, we will go to stab 2. We'll just pay more. It's not a huge deal. We do have 2.5% all power cost reduction from our advisor. Oh, also, if you make your vampires too disloyal or not influential enough, you'll go through a lot of disasters. So we don't want to do that. Yeah, we'll go to stab 2 here. Here we go. That will be good. Now we need our vampires to be 60 loyalty, and we will gain a bunch of crown land back, which will be pretty good. Pretty good. So if we get these guys up to max and then somehow seize land and sell and make them loyal, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. Brink Marches has claimed us. That's okay. They're not going to do anything. We do get a free general from this mission, a 2-4-2-2. But I don't know. I feel like we're going to get a better general from our nobles. We'll find out, right? We'll find out. A little bit of corruption. It's fine. It'll get bought down. We do need at least 5k manpower to click this mission. Just a little upsetting. You know, we could even, at least in our capital state, we could throw down an increased enlistment. It won't be, you know what, we'll do it here too. It's not the greatest use, but it costs us a little bit of money, for sure. Okay, it's almost a ducat. That's a lot. That's a lot, actually. But I do need more manpower, for sure. If I paid for my troops, how much would I lose? 0.71. I mean, we could drill them. No, there's not really a point. Like, having the extra combat ability would be nice, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather save the money here. In fact, we can probably go speed 5 as we wait. Unfortunately, Asheniande caught our spies. Sad. Very sad. Very, very sad. So, okay, as long as we can get through with Wex, then we'll be good to go. And that's going to be like, what, another 2 months or something? We don't need state statutory rights. We'll be fine. 78.5 and 81. Distract the Emperor. Asheniande cowers beneath the skirt of the Emperor like a child that knows it deserves punishment. If we are to get at the child, we must first strike at the adult, directly or otherwise. I mean, I guess. That's not quite the way that I would put it, but sure. Sure. We're just punching everybody. Now this gives us +2 Diplo rep and minus 20% aggressive expansion impact for 30 years. We do remove 80 spy network. We lose 5,000 manpower. But so long as Asheniande still holds lands in Dawsonor region, the next war we declare on them shall exclude any nation not allied to them or guaranteeing them. This includes the Emperor of Anbennar. Should you lose Arca Corvur, you'll need to retake it before doing this. So it will slow down. It'll slow down this, though, which gives us the claims. So maybe I just don't click it. Surely they won't catch me. Surely they won't catch me, right? We're so sneaky. We're so sneaky. We're really the sneakiest of all. They would never even think to look. So all I have to do is hire the mercs, and then we're good to go. Increase of half elven tolerance. That's nice. Yeah, this is going to take them forever, so we're not really in a huge rush to contest that. We can steal it for basically for free. Now we'll just wait. And if they catch us, then we'll click the mission real quick. But let's just hope they don't. Oh, there's the manpower. And let's see here. We do have a 5 shock general. You know what? Let's see what we get from our nobles. 5 shock. 1 siege. Okay. Well, in that case, we could look for like a 2 siege general. These guys have a 3 siege general. They do have minus 33% movement speed, though, which is brutal. That is super brutal. I think instead, the Minibor Free Company has a 2-3-5. I think we'll just go for the novice adventurers here. It will get us where we need to go. All right, let's pay for our troops because it is, in fact, wartime. All right, ready our forces. The Marquisat, I don't know how to say that, of Arnon eye our humble lands as they see blood in the water. We will show them the strength of the Corvurian people is more than enough to drive out any invader. Permanent claim on Rackman's Court, permanent claim on Ravenhill. We gain a 2-4-2-2 that will go and siege everything for us. And then we have Distract the Emperor. which we already read. Boom. Which means in total, right now, we have minus 40% aggressive expansion impact. Minus 40% aggressive expansion impact in 1447. Yeah. Yeah. It's that good. It is as good as it sounds. All right, so we're going to have a free war against Asheniande here. They have 9,000 troops. Arnon has 9,000 troops as well. You are a vassal, but if we can just roll in and kill Asheniande's troops immediately, should be a walk in the park. It's still sad that we didn't get these 3 claims, but hey, I don't know if that's a bit bucket thing or if it's just a regular thing. We could gain 2 corruption. Blackwoods, I mean, it's naval goods. We give us 2 base tax, though. We do make a lot of money off of tax. We do make a lot of money off of tax. It's 2 corruption, though. I gotta pay off that corruption. That's expensive. That gives me all power costs and minimum autonomy. Mandate growth. We don't care about mandate growth. What if I just fire him, arrest him, and rehire him? What if we just do that instead? I think that sounds good. All right. Fort maintenance, army maintenance, advisor maintenance. Yeah. Well, that's fine. We'll wait 1 more tick to gain a bit more morale. Then it is, in fact, game time. Let's see here. What is this if I... Okay, all the funds be true. No province in the Dostnor region can be owned by Asheniande. I would assume it would give us better results. So in that case, I will make a claim on this land. And I will declare for Ravenhill. Also, you might hear my keyboard right now going clickety-clack. I do have a silent keyboard, but it's not currently working. So I have to get a new one. So for the first couple of episodes of this, you'll hear the clickety-clacking of the keyboard. Sorry, nothing I can do about it. Hey. What? Okay. Okay, I was like, now wait a second. Now wait just 1 second. It said they would not join. What you mean? All right. After the War of the Pale Raven, the Duchy of Asheniande took Ravenhill from the Corvurian crown during its ascension into Anbennar. Now armies march up on the hill again with the Emperor nowhere to be found. This is a Silvivan family affair only. Nations not directly allied to Asheniande shall not participate in the war. All right. Looks like we are good to go. That would be a very easy stack wipe. And he gets minus 10% shock damage received. Oh, bro, it's just meant to be. It's just meant to be. Leave 1 troop behind to siege. You know, I do want to have my mercs siege down the capital. But I think for now, it's better if we go back and contest these guys. The only question is, where are they going to go? Because if they want to run to my capital, I would be totally fine with that. Or if they want to like spread out in some way, shape, or form. You leave on the 8th. I can get there on the 13th. Now, the only downside is he might... No, he doesn't. He doesn't go back and deal with that. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. If I get access through Gisden... Can I have access, please? Then I could reasonably get someone here. Let's send the mercs to grab that. We will... I need 4 troops here. Build up. You guys move down to here. Okay. What are you doing? Why are you getting closer? Okay, so you're going to go and occupy that province. Arnon has no troops. I have no reason to go take this right now. I can just continue to let him colonize it. That way I don't have to pay for it, and then at the end of the war, I can snag it. So I guess that means... Honestly, I don't really want to siege down Brink Marches in this war. Though I don't know, I may want to grab it. What is aggressive expansion going to look like for taking all of this? Nice. Nice. Now, can I get away with vassalizing them? Is that allowed? I can call in Silverforge? Probably on a promise of land, huh? No, I can just straight up call in Silverforge. Sure. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's just a free little... Not a vassal. He's not a vassal. He is independent and can make his own decisions. He makes his own decisions. For real. So true. So true. All right, well, in that case, you guys can go to Arnonen's capital and siege that down. Give them an extra 2 guys. And then you all can go into here to help out Silverforge. We no longer need a spy network on Wex. I would like to start building a spy network on Ibavar, though. Because it will allow me to take Order Aldrezia, which I would like to do. An army career, 15 army tradition, or 2.5 professionalism. I will take that tradition. Thank you. We stand here. Now, these guys technically have not enough infantry. I don't really want to let them go and siege me down. I would rather the merchants be loyal. We can also get rid of these edicts. Don't need to pay for them. Yeah, like, I'd rather them not siege me down. But the problem is, what exactly am I going to do about it? That is the problem. Like, I could go fight them. I could leave a troop behind and go fight them. Yeah. I think that's what we do. See, but they're probably just going to immediately run back to fight these guys. No? They're currently not doing that. I'm going to take this fight. See, and they're running back down into there. It's going to be tricky because if I don't siege these back down, he's going to build more troops. Asheniande is. And right now, he doesn't have any troops. And that's pretty sweet. I don't need this many guys on this siege. I mean, Ardenon's on medium, but I would like to humiliate Ardenon, obviously, and get money. So, can I catch them here? Yeah, let's take this fight. It's not going to be a wipe. It's okay. All right, and let's hit these 2 troops. All right, immediately move our mercs back down here. I'm a little worried that these guys are going to get attacked. Let's move our troops here just to make sure they don't. Get back on that siege. Go ahead and consolidate them. You guys can move off and move back up here. Yeah, see, there they are. And then we can start moving through. You can hit the colony first, because if I can get all of this occupied, it may be enough to pull off a humiliate. We might not be able to get max money, but that's okay. Go ahead and seize that. It's going to be 4 ducats a month until we can get 10,000 manpower. Which is obviously not good. That's a lot of money. Draw. What? No shot. Wait, what? Huh? What? How does that work? Arnonen gives me a white piece when Gisden declares on Asheniande? What? Scammed. Well, at the very least I took this. I mean, is that a mission tree thing? Do they have a mission tree that I just got absolutely scammed out of? Well, oh well. What's done is done, I guess. Well, that sucks. Son, Celion, intelligence. I'm a little salty about that. You just took away a humiliate from me. What the heck? How are you doing? You have 23,000 troops. Yeah, but they'll keep getting beat up by their rebels. All right, mission fulfilled. Slander Asheniande. No, thank you. I am all good. I should be improving with my ally. Make them happy with me. There we go. Never mind. Pull back from you, and that is a full annexation. Give me max money. Thank you very much. No more Asheniande. All right. Slander Asheniande. Our relatives in Asheniande think themselves better than us, but they are nothing more than secessionists and pawns of the Dove Throne. They use their propaganda to claim their moral high ground in their invasion of our heartland. We can put our words to much more decisive action. Gain 25 diplomatic power. All right, and now we need to core these two provinces, and we get a bunch of stability and admin points and prestige, and it's all really, really good. Now I also need 5 owned provinces that are a part of the EOA, and I can make the Emperor lose 15 imperial authority. And I do, in fact, know exactly how to do that. A little bit of a war here. Now, I would like to do a show strength on Ibavar, but if I want to take Orda Aldrezia's land, I have to not do that. So let's go ahead. We almost have the claims we need. Or sorry, not the claims. What's it called? Favors. We almost have the favors. Go ahead and core all that up. All right. Now we'll just get ready for the next war. Ready for the next war. Now I do need some manpower. And 50 admin power as well. So we'll hold off on declaring anything until then. Wex demands unlawful territory. Well, what if you took that unlawful territory and I said no? That's right, I'm being kind. Kind words towards the AI. Who knows when they will rise up. But I would like to not be losing 4 ducats a month. So if I could please complete this, I would appreciate it. I can take Miltech and get NO, but wait for the year tick. No reason to rush in. We could also seize Crown Land. We will have rebels to deal with, but I don't really care. Subjugation CB. No. You want dev cost on Shroud Fort? Yeah, fine. I'll do that one. I'll do it. All right, there's Tech 4, which means now Ibavar is going to be a absolute push over. You have 10 favors. I just need to have a little bit more admin power, and then we'll be good to go. Definitely keep improving with our allies so they stay on our side. The Empire doesn't really care about what I did. We'll see how they feel about Orda Aldrezia. Ooh. A Madelaire Renaissance. That is very far away. I will not lie. That is very far away. In Ravenhill, it's at 0.07%. I don't know if we're going to be able to get faceted. That is much farther away than I thought it'd be. But that's okay. That's all right. I'm hoping Ibavar fights these rebels, so that way I can, not have to fight so many troops, preferably. That'd be great. All right, next month we can start our resettlement. All right. Native uprising. Well, that's inconvenient. All right, prepare resettlement. The region known as Daravan's Folly was once the economic center of the old Corvuria kingdom until it was ruined by one of our ancient kings, Daravan the Malignant, who flooded the lands with terrible magic to prevent the Nolish Third Jazz. In his attempt to save the land, he instead doomed our forefathers to live in the poorer north, where we still live in this day. If the adventurers and the Ascani to the north can fight to reclaim their homeland against the Green Tide, then surely we can do the same. Lose 50 admin and diplo points, 10,000 manpower, and for 50 years we gain +1 colonist, 5% settler chance, and +40 global settler increase. Yes, please. Yes, please. Now we're going to go for the native repression policy. We are going to go to the adventurers and grab the pioneer initiatives for an additional 10 global settler increase and 5% settler chance. We would go to the clergy. Yeah, we'll get the native assimilation. It's not very good because there's not a lot of dudes down here, but it's fine. It'll do. All right, so we now have the ability to send it against these guys. You know what? I will call in all of my allies, and we will simply dunk on them. But that war is going to have to wait for the next episode because we have gone on quite some time. I do like to do longer first episodes, but we are pushing that time limit. So I hope you are all excited for this Corvuria campaign. We are off to an absolutely fantastic start. No permanent claims involved, but we don't need permanent claims. We'll humiliate Ibavar, we'll take some land off of Ordo Aldrezia, and we will continue our colonization and expansion, build up some prosperity, hopefully, and make sure everyone knows how great Corvuria is. If you guys are excited for this playthrough, let me know by leaving a like, leave a comment down below. I hate asking, but it is the first episode, so I would appreciate you doing that. If you want to see more Anbennar content, you can follow me on Twitch, link down below. And if you want to hang out with some like-minded peoples, talk about games, you can also join the Discord. But that is going to be it for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.